Okay, picture this. You're a leader, right? Back-to-back meetings, your inbox is overflowing, emails just demanding attention, and you've got that massive presentation looming.
The pressure's on.
Totally. And you're trying to pull data from like everywhere, scattered notes, different reports. You're just wishing desperately for an assistant, maybe even an extra brain, to just sort through it all.
Yeah, synthesize it, find the important bits, maybe even spark an idea for that presentation. It's a common feeling.
It really is that whole battle against just information overload, tight deadlines, complex decisions.
Yeah.
It's the daily grind for so many leaders.
And the pace isn't slowing down, is it? Making smart calls quickly in that kind of environment is, well, it's tougher than ever. Leaders are looking for that edge.
Yeah.
A way to amplify their impact without getting totally bogged down.
Oh, that's exactly what we're diving into today. A potential game changer maybe for leadership teams called Copilot. It's this AI-powered assistant.
Yeah.
And our guide for this exploration is the document you shared, Empowering the Copilot Journey.pdf. So think of this deep dive as your fast track to understanding how Copilot could potentially be that strategic partner you need, tackling those frustrations head on.
Yeah, our mission today is pretty clear, I think. We want to show how Copilot can really unlock some serious productivity gains and maybe just as importantly, foster that culture of innovation within a leadership team.
We're focusing on the real-world advantages, the practical stuff, and how to actually adopt it successfully, giving you what you need to hopefully see some real results.
Exactly. Tangible benefits and effective adoption. That's the focus.
Perfect. So over the next little while, we're going to unpack Copilot's potential to, well, maybe reshape work, especially for leaders. We'll lay out the key guidelines, the rules of the road, if you will, for making it work.
Crucial stuff.
Then we'll look at the different Copilot options out there, because one size doesn't fit all. And finally, yeah, we got to talk about the common pitfalls, those bumps in the road you definitely want to avoid. Ready to explore how to boost that leadership impact.
Let's do it. Let's get straight into the challenges that just eat up so much leadership time and energy.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. Think about a typical week. How many hours just vanish into that black hole of managing email chains? Or, wrestling with spreadsheets, trying to find the actual insight.
Or just staring at a blank PowerPoint slide, willing inspiration to strike when you're under pressure.
Exactly. These routine things, they're productivity killers. They pull focus from the big picture, the strategic thinking leaders should be doing.
And it's not just individual tasks, right? The document points out how collaboration itself can get bogged down. Version control nightmares, miscommunications.
Yeah.
It all adds up to inefficiency, maybe even errors.
Oh, definitely. On creativity, too. That blank page problem when you need a fresh idea. Major bottleneck. Plus, just keeping up with new tools, finding the right file or data point when you need it, that takes real time.
So the big question is, how can AI, how can smart tech actually tackle these specific leadership headaches? And that's really where Microsoft 365 Copilot comes in.
Right. And it's not some separate thing you have to learn from scratch. It's designed to be embedded right into the Microsoft 365 tools teams use every day: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams.
So it feels familiar, like an upgrade to your existing workflow, not a whole new system to wrestle with.
Exactly, an intelligent extension. And for leaders, the practical uses are pretty compelling. Think about those routine tasks again.
Okay.
Copilot can help draft emails, summarize those super long threads so you get the gist and quickly imagine that time saving.
Huge.
It can help with scheduling, generate first drafts of reports, pull key data points together, and presentations. It can create a first version based on your notes or outline.
That's the automation side. But what about boosting the actual quality of the work? The creative side?
Yeah, this is where it gets exciting, I think. Stuck, staring at that blank slide. Ask Copilot for content ideas, maybe an outline for a strategy doc, even design suggestions for PowerPoint. It's like having a brainstorming buddy on demand.
Like breaking through that writer's block instantly. And for data-driven decisions.
It can speed that up massively, pulling trends from spreadsheets, finding key insights in documents much faster than doing it manually, so you're making calls based on facts quicker.
And collaboration gets a boost too, right? Summarizing meeting notes, pulling out action items so everyone's on the same page. That cuts down on follow-up confusion.
Definitely. And one other thing often overlooked is the learning aspect. Instead of digging through help menus, you can just ask Copilot in plain English, how do I do X? Or where's that file on Y?
Like a personalized help desk built right in, using your organization's own information.
Exactly. Now, obviously, a huge concern for any leader is security and privacy. especially with AI.
Absolutely critical. Non-negotiable, really.
And the document stresses this. Microsoft 365 Copilot works within your organization's secure M365 environment. It doesn't learn from your private business data. It doesn't leak it to the outside world. That's a key reassurance.
That's fundamental. Knowing your sensitive info stays protected.
So let's connect all this back to the benefits for a leadership team. First up, massive productivity boost. Think of all those hours saved from tedious tasks.
Freeing up leaders for strategy, for innovation, for leading.
Right, like a manager asking Copilot, summarize the key updates from the project emails this week, instead of spending hours wading through them.
That alone is a huge win. And it's not just saving time, it's also about improving the quality of the output, right?
Yes, creating more polished presentations, clearer documents, even if you don't have like a dedicated design or comms person on your immediate team, that builds confidence, makes communication stronger.
And better, faster decisions, because you can get the data insights quicker, like querying sales trends by region on the fly.
Exactly. More informed decisions made faster. And then there's that continuous learning piece we mentioned. Using Copilot helps people naturally get more tech savvy, pick up new skills.
So it's this cycle of upskilling built into the workflow.
Yeah. So to wrap up this part, Copilot isn't about replacing leaders, it's about amplifying them. Handling the routine stuff so they can focus on the strategic work that really moves the needle.
Well said. But like any powerful tool, you need to know how to use it properly.
Right.
Which brings us to the rules of the road for making Copilot successful.
Absolutely. The document uses this great analogy, learning to drive a high-performance car. Copilot has a lot of power, but without rules, controls, and practice, you won't get the best out of it, and you might even run into trouble.
Makes sense. So what are these essential traffic rules for using Copilot effectively, especially for leaders?
First rule, and it's a big one, protect sensitive data. Just like ignoring a stop sign is dangerous, feeding highly confidential info into Copilot without the right safeguards is a major risk. Clear rules on data privacy are non-negotiable.
So discourage prompting with, say, highly sensitive financial projections or unannounced M&A details, unless specific security protocols are confirmed.
Exactly. And alongside that, professionalism. Just like road rage is unacceptable, generating inappropriate stuff with Copilot is too. The company's code of conduct absolutely applies to AI interactions.
Keep it professional. Got it. What else?
The trust but verify rule. This is crucial. The document really hammers this home. Always, always have a human review Copilot's output before you use it for anything important, big decisions, external comms.
Because even the best AI can make mistakes or misinterpret things. It's a co-pilot, not the pilot in command.
Precisely. So those are the basic rules. But like a car has safety features, you need controls in place for Copilot. What are those key safety features?
Well, access controls are a big one. The document suggests not just flipping the switch for everyone on day one. Maybe start with a pilot group.
Yeah, like IT or maybe some enthusiastic business champions who can test it out, figure out best practices.
Exactly. A phased rollout. And then there's data governance. Think of this as keeping the roads clear and safe.
Meaning things like making sure file permissions are right, sensitive documents are labeled correctly.
And using things like data loss prevention, DLP policies in SharePoint and OneDrive to add another layer of protection against accidental sharing of sensitive stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. Like guardrails. What about monitoring? Keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, system monitoring is important. Tracking usage through audit logs, looking for any weird patterns. It's like having traffic cameras to spot potential problems early.
Rules, safety features.
Whoa.
Now, what about the road itself? The document talks about paving the roads, the infrastructure.
This is absolutely vital. You can have the best car, but if the road is full of potholes, you're not going anywhere fast. Data quality is key here.
Garbage in, garbage out, right. If your SharePoint sites are a mess, full of old, duplicate files.
Copilot's going to struggle. It needs clean, organized data to work well. So data cleanup, consistent file naming, version control, that groundwork is essential.
And keeping everything up to date, like regular maintenance.
Yep. Keep your Microsoft 365 environment and Copilot itself updated. You get the latest features, security patches, performance tweaks.
And making sure you have enough bandwidth, the right hardware, the technical foundations.
Exactly. Got to ensure the infrastructure can handle it.
Okay, so rules, safety, roads. But you still need to learn how to drive this thing. The document calls this driver's ed training.
Crucial. And it starts with just basic feature familiarization, showing people what Copilot can do in the tools they actually use. Drafting emails in Outlook, summarizing in Word, recapping Teams meetings.
Hands-on stuff, right? Not just theory.
Definitely. And then teaching effective prompting. This is huge. It's like telling your GPS exactly where you want to go. Clear, specific prompts get good results. Vague ones, not so much.
So training needs to cover how to ask good questions, with examples.
Absolutely. And scenario-based training is powerful too. Show people how to use Copilot for their actual work, like generating a proposal outline, finding relevant case studies for their industry.
Make it real for them.
Exactly. And it can't be a one-off training session. Think ongoing tips, maybe a Copilot tip of the week, advanced workshops later on.
Continuous learning. Okay, so people have had their driver's ed. Now it's about gaining experience. What's the mindset here?
Start slow, then accelerate. Begin with simple tasks, get comfortable, then try more complex things. And, importantly, learn from mistakes.
So if Copilot gives a weird answer, don't just give up.
No. See it as a chance to figure out how to ask a better question next time. Refine the prompt.
And always remember who's in charge.
Absolutely. The document stresses. You're the pilot. Copilot assists, but you make the decisions. You're responsible for the final output. Stay in control.
Okay. What about folks who are hesitant, maybe a bit nervous about AI? How do you overcome that initial apprehension?
Good question. Mentorship helps pair newcomers with enthusiastic early adopters, Copilot champions.
Create a supportive environment.
Exactly. Foster a culture where it's okay to experiment, to try things, even if they don't work perfectly the first time. Leadership needs to model this.
And share the wins, right? Show concrete examples of how Copilot saved time or improved a project.
Yes, those internal success stories can really turn skepticism into excitement. Seeing is believing.
So following these rules of the road sets you up for a much smoother journey.
Definitely. It builds that strong foundation for using Copilot effectively and responsibly.
Okay, so we've got the potential, we've got the guidelines, but it turns out there's not just one Copilot. The document talks about choosing the right tool for the job, comparing the main Microsoft 365 Copilot with more specialized Copilot agents.
Right. It uses the analogy of choosing between, say, a versatile SUV and a focused sports car. Different tools for different needs within the leadership team.
Interesting. So let's break that down. What are these Copilot agents, the specialist co-drivers?
Think of them as AI assistants built for very specific tasks or departments. They work with a much smaller, targeted set of data.
So unlike the main Copilot that sees everything, these are focused, like an HR agent just for policies.
Exactly. An HR agent trained only on HR policies, handbooks, that sort of thing. The big advantage: high relevance. You ask an HR question, you get a focused HR answer, not something pulled from, marketing documents. Less noise.
Makes sense. Sounds like they might be easier to get started with, too. Quicker wins, maybe less training needed?
Generally, yes. Because their scope is narrow, they can be simpler to use within that context. They're great for repetitive, well-defined processes, like maybe a legal agent for standard contract clauses.
Okay. Focused, efficient for specific tasks. What's the downside?
The main limitation is that narrow scope. Ask it something outside its programmed area and it just won't know. It can't help with broader tasks or information discovery.
So when would a leader choose an agent? What are the ideal use cases?
The document suggests they're great for high-value, specific processes where you want a quick impact, or maybe for just one team that needs focused help. If simplicity and fast ROI on a particular task are the priority, an agent can be a really good starting point, like that customer support FAQ agent example.
Got it. Specialist tool for a specialist job. Now, what about the other option? Microsoft 365 Copilot, the versatile all-rounder.
This is the big one. It has access potentially across your whole M365 environment. Emails, chats, documents, meetings, everything you have permission to access, of course.
So its strength is that breadth, pulling information together from anywhere.
Exactly. Versatility. It can make connections you might miss, surface information serendipitously because it sees the bigger picture.
But the document mentions this requires more of a mindset shift, maybe a steeper learning curve.
It can, yeah. Because it's so powerful and accesses so much, users really need to learn how to prompt effectively, how to guide it. It might change how you approach finding information or even starting tasks. There's more learning involved to get the most out of it.
But the payoff is potentially much bigger, impacting the whole organization if lots of people use it.
That's the idea. Its value really scales with broad adoption. It's aimed at lifting productivity across the board, breaking down silos, maybe sparking more innovation because people have easier access to collective knowledge.
So when is this the right choice for leadership?
When the goal is that broad organization-wide productivity boost, when you're aiming for a bigger digital transformation and you're ready to invest in the training and change management needed for that wide rollout, it's for tackling those information silos head on.
Okay, so it's agents for specific quick wins and M365 Copilot for broad transformative impact, but with more upfront effort.
That's a good summary. Agents offer targeted scope, easier learning curve, focused use cases. M365 Copilot offers comprehensive scope, requires more learning, aims for versatile, company-wide benefits.
And the document notes you could use both, right? A hybrid approach.
Absolutely. Roll out M365 Copilot generally, but maybe build a specific agent for, say, the finance team's modeling needs or a sales proposal generator. Combine the strengths.
So how does a leader decide what's the final calculus?
It really boils down to your business goals and how ready the organization is. Need quick, tangible ROI on one specific process, maybe pilot an agent, aiming for wider digital transformation. M365 Copilot is likely the path, but plan for the journey.
Understand the trade-offs between specific focus and broad capability. Align it with your strategy.
Exactly. And whichever path you choose, be aware of the potential bumps in the road, the common pitfalls.
Yes, the pitfalls. Even with the best plan, things can go sideways. The document calls these bumps in the road leadership needs to anticipate. Super helpful framing. Let's talk about those.
Okay, first big one, the training trap. Thinking you can just deploy Copilot and everyone will magically figure it out.
The just deploy and go mistake. What happens then?
Frustration. People don't know how to use it effectively, so they either underutilize it, get bad results, maybe even misuse it, low adoption, wasted potential.
And the fix is obvious but crucial. Invest in good ongoing training. Show people how. Make resources easy to find.
Right. Next up, garbage in, garbage out. Ignoring data quality. If your underlying data in SharePoint, OneDrive, etc. is a mess.
Copilot's answers will be unreliable based on bad info, and then people lose trust in the tool.
Exactly. So regular data audits, cleanup, enforcing data standards, it's foundational. You have to maintain the quality of the information Copilot uses.
Makes sense. Then there's the prompting problem. People asking ineffective questions.
Yeah, if prompts are vague or poorly worded, the answers will be off target. Users get frustrated, think Copilot doesn't work, and might just give up.
So train people on how to craft good prompts. Give examples. Encourage practice.
Precisely. Prompt engineering is a skill, and encourage follow-up prompts to refine results.
Okay, what about asking Copilot things way outside its lane? Out of domain requests?
This is risky. If you ask Copilot for advice on something you know nothing about, and you just accept its answer without checking, you could make a bad decision based on flawed AI output.
So the advice is, stick to your expertise. Verify information from unfamiliar areas with actual human experts.
Yes, use it to augment your knowledge, not replace critical thinking where you lack background.
Got it. What about overloading it? The too much, too fast issue.
Trying to feed Copilot massive documents or data sets all at once. It can choke the system, slow things down, maybe lead to less accurate summaries or analyses.
So be selective, break big tasks down, use filters and prompts.
Exactly. Be smart about the scope of your requests. Smaller, targeted queries often work better.
Okay. Then there's the opposite, maybe over-reliance, the autopilot syndrome.
Just blindly trusting everything Copilot produces without reviewing it critically. Huge risk of errors slipping through, losing that essential human judgment.
So mandate review, fact-checking, constantly reinforce it's a Copilot.
Absolutely. Human oversight is non-negotiable.
What about working in silos? Teams figuring things out but not sharing.
Big missed opportunity. If one team discovers a great prompting technique or runs into a specific issue but doesn't share it, everyone else has to reinvent the wheel. Slows down overall learning.
So create a community, a feedback loop for sharing tips, tricks, problems.
Definitely. Foster that collective learning.
And managing expectations. Unrealistic expectations, expecting miracles overnight.
Yeah, if you expect Copilot to instantly solve every problem and deliver massive breakthroughs on day one, you'll likely be disappointed. That can kill momentum.
So set realistic goals. Celebrate the small wins, the incremental improvement.
Exactly. Appreciate the gradual progress.
How about creativity stifled? Just using it for basic stuff, not exploring its potential.
Yeah, if people only use it to say, summarize emails, they miss out on using it for brainstorming, drafting creative content, exploring new ideas, underutilization of its power.
So encourage experimentation. Maybe run some innovation challenges using Copilot.
Great idea. Push the boundaries a bit.
Okay, fear of failure. People afraid to try because they might get it wrong.
This can really stall adoption. If the culture punishes mistakes, people won't experiment with prompts or features they're unsure about.
So leadership needs to foster that psychological safety, make it okay to try and learn, model that behavior.
Crucial. Experimentation is key to learning.
Impatience, giving up too soon if mastery isn't instant.
Yep. It takes time to get good at using these tools. If people expect instant expertise and don't get it, they might abandon Copilot before really experiencing the benefits.
So set expectations about the learning curve, provide good support.
Patience and persistence are needed. Support helps bridge the gap.
Last one, seating control. Forgetting you're the pilot.
Letting Copilot completely drive the bus. Relying too much on its suggestions without adding your own expertise, your critical thinking, your unique perspective. The output becomes generic, maybe misses nuances.
So always remember it's a tool. Use its output as a starting point, then refine, edit, add your value.
Exactly. Maintain human agency. You're enhancing your capability, not outsourcing your brain.
Wow, that's a lot of potential bumps to watch out for. But being aware is half the battle, right?
Absolutely. Anticipating these challenges allows leadership teams to navigate them proactively and really increases the odds of a successful Copilot journey.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, from, the initial excitement about what Copilot could do to the nitty-gritty of making it work the rules, the options, avoiding those pitfalls. And I think the core message that comes through really strongly is that, yeah, Copilot is powerful tech, but it needs empowered people with the right mindset, the right training to really unlock its potential.
Absolutely. Leaders are the pilots here, guiding the implementation and use. It's not just about the technology itself.
We started thinking about smoother operations, more creativity, faster decisions, a more innovative culture.
And we've seen how Copilot can contribute to that if you understand its value, follow the guidelines, choose the right approach for your needs, and proactively manage those common challenges.
And it's definitely not a one-and-done thing, is it? It's about continuous learning, adapting as the tech evolves, always balancing trust with that critical human evaluation.
That's the key for long-term success. It's an ongoing journey.
So ultimately, leaders today have this incredible chance to kind of co-create the future of work using tools like Copilot strategically. It's an adventure, really, full of potential.
It really is. An adventure in innovation and achievement. So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is, how can these insights help your leadership team start or navigate your Copilot journey?
Great question to leave folks with. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Hopefully this has given you a solid framework for moving forward with Copilot confidently. Until next time.